making my design fun fold card, and this is a triple Z fold card which opens up like that. Now you have all the measurements in the tutorial, so I'm not going to go through any of the measurements. I've pre-prepared all the scoring and cuddle mode bits of DSP and everything, so we're just going to assemble the card. And just because I can, I'm going to use different DSP. If you've got the kit, you have all the different pieces of DSP, so you can choose either to use the DSP that we've used on the cards in the tutorial, or you can use whichever one you want. So you should have enough DSP to make all 9 cards. Alright, so getting started, I've run my piece of basic white through the Fern and Flora embossing folder, and we just want to add some color to this. Now if you look at the DSP that I've used over here, that is the reverse side of that DSP, and this was a bit of an odd color. I wasn't quite sure what color it is. In the packaging it says hydrangea hue, but to me it wasn't quite hydrangea hue, it was a little bit purple, so I've made it my own color. And to do that, we're going to take some Gorgeous Grape and go light-handed, okay, because you can always add extra color, but if you go too heavy you can't take it off. So I'm just lightly adding some color, and all that I'm doing is pressing really lightly so that I'm just getting color onto those raised bits. Okay, so that's my Gorgeous Grape, maybe just a little bit more down here. And then, moving that out the way, we're going to grab some of the hydrangea hue and that's quite dark, so I want a bit off because I don't want it too dark, but I'm adding that it's going over the Gorgeous Grape, and you can agree or disagree, but to me it's giving me that sort of bluish purplish color that's in the DSP. Alright, so now we can assemble our card. Like I said, I've done all my scoring. That is the card base, which is folded, mountain fold on the end, then valley and mountain valley, so the same on both sides. And we're just going to stick our embossed piece in the middle, and hopefully some glue is going to come out here. Move my paper out the way. I'll put it back in when I need to do some more stamping, but for now that's all good. And I've chosen the black floral piece this time, and the catch with this one is when you're cutting your DSP you just need to be really careful, because you want your picture to follow through. And you can see on these two pieces I have actually stuck my DSP on. I'm going to stick it onto the last piece when I'm with you. But just a word of warning, when you're cutting this, and this is depending on how neurotic you're going to be about it, if you're anything like me, that one, cut that first, and then you've got your two little pieces from the end. Now I messed this one up, perfectly honest here. For the middle piece you actually want to cut your smaller pieces first from the left hand side, and then your longer piece on the right. I cut them all the same way, so you can see if you're looking really closely, and I don't know whether it matters that much, my picture doesn't carry on because that's actually on the end here, so You wouldn't have noticed it if I didn't tell you, but now that I've told you, you can't unsee it. So if that's going to bug you, then just be aware of that when you're cutting your DSP. And then when you're sticking it on, just keep your pieces that you know which one fits on where. Okay, so you're sticking, these strips are all scored and folded exactly the same. It's just that we're flipping the one over so that those two little pieces are on the left, and for the top and the bottom one, your little pieces are on the right. And then if you're going to be fussed about your picture carrying on going through, just make sure that you keep them in the right order. Alright, so now bring my card back in here. What you're going to do, ooh, that was not supposed to have come unstuck. I obviously pulled too hard, but that's okay because it shows you exactly what we're doing, which is maybe not the best thing. Sometimes you have lucky mistakes. Okay, we have a very unlucky mistake here because I didn't cut extra pieces of my DSP for the sides. Okay, this one is having plain sides because I forgot about those completely. I was so focused on my DSP running the right way, I forgot about the sides. Alright, so we're just going to put some glue on, roughly the same width as my side piece here, and we're sticking that my sides and top edge are lined up, and then we're going to take the back of my last little piece and I'm going to stick that down here so it's again with the top lined up, and it's going to sit just before that score line but sticking onto my embossed piece. And we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. Now, if you're good at judging, then you can go top, middle, bottom, but I'm not that good. So I like to do the top and the bottom because those are easy to line up because you're lining with the top and the bottom edge of the card. And then your middle one you can have a look at to get between those two strips. And there we go. So those are going to sit nicely like that. And then we're doing the same thing with the middle one, except this time we're sticking it against that right side. And like I said, just roughly judging that it's sitting somewhat evenly between the two. And then the same thing where we're sticking that tab onto there, again just before the score line. Give it a couple of seconds to actually stick, and then when we fold it up, our pieces are going to and very, oops, okay, come on, there we go, slotting. Alright, so this one is looking okay, but it definitely does look better if you've got DSP there. And then I've just fussy cut one of the flowers out of the DSP, and I'm going to stick that onto my oval. And while I'm sticking, let's just stick that one back in its place. Easy fix if it messes up. Okay, and I'm going to just trim the edges here so that it's all in line. If you like it hanging over, then you can leave it, but I'm going to make it going around my oval. And then we're sticking that it's sort of centered, and I'm just going to put some glue behind there. So I only want the glue on that strip. I don't want it sticking the card closed anywhere else. And now let's just do my back. So I've fussy cut another flower from the DSP, and this one I don't know whether it was an end piece or whether it was just the way that my DSP was cut, but it was like that, and when I was cutting it I decided it was just too fussy with all those extra bits, so I cut that off, and I've just got the bit of flower. And it doesn't matter if you've got an edge piece, use the edge piece. It doesn't matter whether your flower's sitting on the right edge or the left edge. You just want something to make your writing panel look pretty. And we're going to stick that onto the back of our card. Now I am going to change up the sentiment for this one just because I need a birthday card and we're going to do this. So for that one I use it usually folds up really easily, except everything doesn't go easy when I'm on camera. Okay, I use the Sending Love, which is also 1 sentiment, and I just realized that I'm not doing well with this card because I was supposed to have stamped some of the dots behind it as well. Alright, let's see if I can get some dots in. Note to self, don't do what, or note to you, don't do what I'm doing. Do what I'm telling you to do and stamp your dots before you stick your flowers on, but I can maybe just get a few. Okay, not too bad, at least we do have a little bit of background texture there. Now, the Sending Love is what your little bits are pieced for or sized for, but it is going to work with this, so it's better if I don't have that underneath. I'm going to just ink up the happy birthday. And full disclosure, I have actually stamped on the back of these so that if it doesn't go well on camera, I actually do have them stamped. But okay, that's not bad. I could be happy with that. And then this boat, the To You, is going to be a little bit narrower. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp it on the bottom of my stamp. If you don't have the kit, then you could make it a little bit wider because this is an exact fit. I did the same with the Sending Love, just inked up the sending and then cleaned my stamp and inked up the love so that we got them on the 2 separate little little pieces, and I am going to just trim this down a little bit, just because you could stamp the 2U in the middle, but I want mine just that little bit narrower because it is a little sentiment. And see, there's where I said I had it on the back, but I'd actually stamped the back ones in Highland Heather, but we're going to go with the Gorgeous Grape because I am happy with those. They worked, which is pretty amazing. So we're going to stick that there, and my 2U on the bottom. And then I have a fresh freesia bow. So let's just grab a glue dot over here. This tail doesn't want to lie where I want it to, but hopefully when I put my glue dot on, I'm going to pull it forward and it's going to stay exactly where I want it to stay. Okay, marginally skewed, but that will do. And of course we need some of these beautiful flowers. So I'm going to put one inside that flower, and they're not going to line up straight, but that's okay. Alright, we'll put one inside that flower. Alright, so there we go. Different DSP, of course, add some DSP there, it will look, I think, a little bit better, but there's that Triple Z fold card, so really easy to make.